I'm Mark Greenstein. It's November 30th. This is the Daily Fire for the final day of the month. I want to speak about Hartford and specifically the transportation proposal to route a tunnel instead of the above ground I-84 through downtown Hartford. Except for supporting the construction industry, which I am in favor of, there's no good reason for this. This has the makings of a complete boondoggle where we will have egg on our faces. Why? Because traffic has not gotten any worse in Hartford. 30 years ago, I was driving my parents' station wagon in the Hartford suburbs, and you could expect if you went on I-84 westbound between 3 and 6:30 in the evening, you'd be 20 to 30 minutes delayed to get through. It's about 10 now. Traffic has gone down, and it will almost certainly continue to go down. Look at the technology. We use smaller cars. You don't see people buying Hummers anymore, do you? Smaller cars allow 3 lanes to become 4. 2 lanes to become 3, and maybe with some smarts, 2 lanes to even become 4 because of the use of a breakdown lane, which almost never gets used anymore. When highways were constructed in the 50s and 60s, cars would break down every 3,000 or 4,000 miles. A breakdown lane made a lot of sense. Cars are so much better now, you don't see people using them very often. So here's a 4th lane on a 3-lane highway that could end up being very good for trucks. We're not going to slim those down, but for remaining cars that are getting smaller and smarter, we will have ample room. Let me talk about the smarter. Smart ingenuity has allowed traffic patterns to be obvious to people and to avoid the worst rush hours. We know this from our GPSs. And we have smarter and smarter cars that use the spaces within traffic more intelligently. There's going to be more and more room per passenger with smarter cars, smaller cars, good GPS systems. There's going to be less traffic as well because, have you noticed, not as many people work in downtown offices. You go to a busy, quote, busy office, and a third of their staff are working from home. Telecommuting, which makes a lot of sense, is going to continue. That's for lifestyle reasons and economic reasons. There's also the commercial deliveries that are going to more and more be done not by trucks, but by drones. Okay? They're going very well in New Zealand. They're under trial in a couple European countries. We'll come along pretty well too, and a lot of those big clogging up trucks are going to have alternate routes or less use in the first place. The reasons for getting money to fund this enormous, and this is probably a $20 billion project. The only good reason is, well, there might be a lot of federal money behind it. So to this extent, look, if you can snow the stupid federal government to pay for 90% and fund our construction business, I'm neutral. I don't think you're going to get that far. But if you want to try, I'd still like to see the effort be based on a different federal department. How about the education department, where you have some very good people in the Trump administration who would fund better education? $20 billion goes, well, I'll do the math. It funds 1,000 science teachers in our Connecticut schools, plus 1,000 paraprofessionals for 100 years. Okay? It is incredibly better use of money on students' brain power. Now, you could also say, if it weren't for the federal government's largesse and Connecticut had to pay for it themselves, would we be making this proposal? I think not. Okay? That kind of money is about $10,000 per household. Do you want to ask a household in Litchfield or a household in the New London area who almost never go into Hartford to be paying up for Metro Hartford's slight more convenience? By the way, not all households can afford to pay even close to $10,000, which means if Connecticut were shelving the load itself, you're looking at probably $20,000 to $25,000 on a lot of households in the state. Ask whether that's worth it, or whether the money could be put to better use, or whether the money could be not spent in the first place. Please think this through. We do not need another big dig that tied up traffic in Boston for many, many years. The proposers of this proposal in Hartford say, well, this is at least a 30-year plan. Look, you can instantly aid Hartford traffic in a year. We can improve Hartford's traffic in a few months. You don't need 30 years. Put a ramp for eastbound 84 traffic into Frog Hollow, south end of Hartford. It allows people to get to Trinity College, Hartford Hospital, without going through downtown. Westbound, we got 2 bridges crossing the Connecticut River. Make one of them sensitive to commute traffic. You put all 4 lanes in one direction from 3 to 7 p.m. You put all 4 lanes in the other direction for the morning commute. People who want to go the other way have the Bulkley Bridge if the Founders Bridge is closed. You can do this. We do this on some local streets. Asylum Avenue in Hartford has been like that for many years. It works. Use ingenuity instead of household dollars. As for north and southbound, 91 doesn't need a change. We have double-tracked rail lines coming on board from New Haven up to Springfield. Are they accounting for that? That is going to reduce traffic on 91 greatly. And that becomes actually a model for any future transportation, is a lot more rail. By the way, who likes rail? Younger people. Okay? A lot of them aren't buying cars in the first place. They get their driver's license at ages 18 and 19. We got them at age 16 and 30 days, as soon as we possibly could. Those who insist on more and more roadways are the ones who are 30 years from now rarely going to be driving on them. Please look forward at trends and don't commit so much money on stick highways that we're going to be regretful, or tunnels that we're going to be impoverished by, when you could be funding education a lot better, or simply pocketing and keeping people's money where it is.